So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. Anita and Paul Okoye's early love story is certainly one that would make you feel like falling in love. It's one that would definitely sell as a perfect script for a Hollywood love blockbuster. Chinonso Paul Okoye of the legendary Psquare group and Anita Isama, as she then was, certainly didn't go looking for love or marriage when they gained admission into the University of Abuja, Nigeria, back in the early 2000s. But love and marriage found them and happened to them. They both met in 2004 at the university. Paul was a 23-year-old final year student of business administration, and Anita, who was only 16, was a fresher who just gained admission to study law. The day these two lovebirds, or should I say former lovebirds, met started off like every other normal day. Paul had a female friend who he had earlier developed a crush on, and they had agreed on a venue where they were to meet. When Paul got to the initially proposed venue for their meetup, his crush was not there. So he called her to ask her where she was, and she redirected him to another venue, as though fate was working for him to meet with Anita. Because it was at this new venue where Paul went to meet his crush that he eventually met Anita. So when Paul got to the new meetup point and saw Anita, he was immediately attracted to her. He began doing all he could to get her mobile number, which he declined at first. But after much persistence, she gave in and gave Paul her phone number. And that was how their friendship began. About 2 years later, in 2006, they officially began dating. Anita was 18 as at then, and Paul was 25. They were so in love, so inseparable, and so optimistic about their future together. Paul and Anita dated for quite a long time, and after 8 years of knowing each other and 6 years of officially becoming an item, Anita got pregnant. That was around June of 2012, and by April 11th of the next year, 2013, the lovebirds welcomed their first son, Andre Chukwunonso Okoye. So she became his baby mama and him her baby dada. At this point, Paul had already begun to enjoy great success as a musical artist under the Psquare group. The fame, fortune, and buzz was already present. One major difficult decision that many successful artists or musicians face is the decision of who to settle down with and when to get married. The truth is that women, lots of women, usually get carried away with fame and fortune. And determining a woman's true intentions and motives for them is usually a Herculean task. That is why many celebrities who didn't find a stable partner before the fame came find it extremely very difficult to settle down after the fame. But as for Paul, I do not think he fell within this category. I don't think it was such a difficult decision for him to make. First, he had admitted on several occasions that Anita was his first and only true love ever. Secondly, they had met and fallen in love when Paul had nothing and he was nobody. They met in school as students. He was only a struggling artist that nobody knew. So Anita certainly didn't go for him for fame or for fortune, because as at then, he had none. He had even on his own by himself given her so much credit for all that she did for him during their school years. And thirdly, she had already bore him a son. So it felt like the most rational and right thing to do to solidify their union and take it to the next level of marriage. So on this fateful day, after having dated for 8 years and been friends for 10 good years, Paul proposed to Anita, an incident she termed as romantic, surprising, and unexpected. Paul had taken Anita to a jewelry store to test out some rings, and he told her to pick a ring, any ring of her choosing. After she had picked a ring of her choice, Paul went down on one knee and proposed to her and asked Anita to be his wife. It was so romantic and it was so beautiful. And of course, she said yes. So on the 22nd of March 2014, the lovebirds had friends and family gather at the Aztec Acom Center, event center in Port Harcourt to witness their union as husband and wife. The wedding was the talk of the town. It was the wedding of the decade. Bella Naija was in charge of the live coverage. Omo Obilo Luxury Events planned the wedding. The decoration was lit. Even the famous designer Frank Oshodi styled the groom, designed his outfits. And so many noticeable figures graced the occasion. Iniedo, Dibanj, Funke Akindele, Kanayo O Kanayo, just to name it, Mona Lisa Chinda, Inyanya, Uche Jumbo. It was star-studded, to say the least. Even the then governor of Rivers State and present minister of transportation, Rotimi Amechi, graced the occasion. And the two young lovebirds tied the knots. 1 year after their church and traditional wedding, they proceeded to the Okoye registry in Lagos and got married in the courts. Thus, they became man and wife in the sight of the law, in the sight of God, and in the sight of tradition. The next year, Anita got pregnant again, and on the 9th of July 2017, the young, beautiful couple welcomed a set of twins, Nathan and Nadia Okoye, at Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States of America. So you can only imagine their joy. They were happy, they were elated, they were whole, they were complete, they were perfect. Or so we thought. You see, Paul and Anita have managed to keep their marriage private from the prying eyes of the public. And the perception that they had both given is that they enjoyed a perfect marriage. And if any of the twins' marriage was ever going to have been suspected of breaking down, everybody's guess would have been Peter and Lola Okoye because of the several controversies that have rocked their marriage. So sometime in May last year, 2021, when it came out in the news that Paul and Anita's marriage may have hit the rocks and that she had left him and relocated to the US with her kids, the reaction was more of shock and utter disbelief. And the question on everybody's lips was, what happened to the seemingly perfect marriage of Paul and Anita Okoye? Some people believed that the marriage of Paul and Anita had indeed crashed, while others believed that she just went schooling and that after her studies, she was going to come back to Nigeria and reunite with her husband. Come on, how could two people who had such a pure, unbiased, young puppy love come this far just to break up? No, they were not having any of that. Well, if you belonged to the later school of thought, who assumed or hoped to believe that everything was okay and that Anita was going to reunite with her husband, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that is not the case. Anita and Paul Okoye will indeed be getting a divorce, and the details are both scandalous and unbelievable. Despite both parties have tried to keep the details of their divorce private, court documents, unfortunately, are public documents. And on the 7th of July 2021, every single nasty details of their divorce made it out to the nets. So, these are the reasons that Anita Okoye gave for wanting a divorce from her famous celebrity husband. 1. Infidelity. Anita, who is the petitioner in the divorce suit, has alleged gross infidelity on her husband's part. She accused the Reason With Me crooner of having stooped so low to the bottom to have started an affair and started sleeping with a house help called Florence. According to Anita, Florence, their house help, wasn't the only woman that Paul was sleeping with or messing around with or engaged in an illicit affair with. Anita said there were numerous of them. She even tendered several text messages showing her husband allegedly chatting with other women. And in some cases, there was a particular woman that was telling him that he had forgotten his wristwatch at her place when he came to spend the night. So it was so messy and so ugly. 2. Desertion. Anita claims that Paul threw her out of her matrimonial home along with her sister when she dared to confront him of his many affairs, including that involving her house help. She said that Paul had always warned her that he was going to clip her wings, and he threw her out of the house to make do of his threats to clip her wings. 3. Absenteeism. In the court documents, the father of 3 was also accused of being an absentee father and husband. She claims that he showed no interest at all in the upbringing of his children, and he was never available for her or the kids. 4. Fraud. Paul was also accused by ANITA of cheating her out of a deal to build a mall which was agreed to be jointly owned. She deposed that she had contributed a whopping 10 million naira to the building of that mall on the agreement that he was going to give her a space in the mall for her business. And upon completion of that mall, according to her, Paul reneged on that agreement and refused to give her a space in the mall for her business. And lastly, painful experiences. ANITA claims to have endured a lot of excruciatingly painful experiences at the hands of Paul, and thus it cannot be reasonably expected of her to continue living with such a person. And on that note, she prayed the honorable court to dissolve her union with Paul. Although neither Paul, who is respondent in this divorce petition, nor his legal team have filed their own response to all these claims that his wife has come with, I'm sure we are all curious to hear his own part of the story. But in the meantime, 2 different schools of thoughts have arisen. The first school of thought holds that their perception of ANITA's major problem in the marriage was infidelity and maybe absenteeism. And according to them, they are disappointed in ANITA that infidelity would be the cause for her to ask for a divorce. According to them again, they believe that such a lifestyle comes with a package. You cannot be expected to be married to a young, successful, famous person with all that money and affluence and fame, and you have female fans throwing themselves at him, all kinds of beautiful women, and you expect him to just spend the rest of his life faithful to one woman. That it doesn't work that way, and she should have gotten acquainted to the lifestyle that comes from marrying a man of that career. The second school of thought grossly disagree with the first. They say that Paul cheating on ANITA with loose women who definitely are just around because of his fame and fortune is an insult and the height of disloyalty on Paul's part, considering the fact that ANITA had stuck with him through thick and thin when he had nothing, only for him to reward her with infidelity when he became famous. In their opinion, being a celebrity or being famous or being an entertainer is no excuse to be promiscuous, as they are also very faithful celebrities. So at this juncture, what are your thoughts? Do you really believe from your heart of hearts? Do not give any social media answer. There are no right or wrong answers. What do you think about being married to a celebrity? Do you think that every woman who is married to a celebrity in Nigeria should just brace up herself and be prepared for other women encroaching in your marriage? Or do you actually think that they can really be faithful celebrity men? Do let me know what you think in the comment section. So guys, we have come to the end of today's video, and really hot that the marriage of Paul and ANITA have hit the rocks. So many people say, court a man, court a woman. When you court, you know them well and you know what you're going into in the marriage. So what do we say about this case? There was a 10-year courtship that led to marriage that eventually broke in less than 10 years. Really, when it comes to marriage, there are no equations, there are no arithmetics, and there are no hard and fast rules. Do let me know what you think about Paul and ANITA's breakup right in the comments section. So thank you so much guys for watching. If you're not subscribed yet, do well to subscribe before you leave. Hit the notification bell, drop all your feedback in the comments, and give this video a big thumbs up. It's me, your girl, Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.